Hi folks, this is our last of your YouTube sessions and our stakeholder assignment for Monday's class. In our first YouTube assignment, we talked about what is strategic planning. In our second, we talked about the differences between nonprofit and for-profit. And we looked at the model of strategic planning and what levels it occurs. And we looked at the different factors that make a difference for nonprofits. Today, very quickly, we're going to do a breeze through on stakeholders, and I'm going to give you an activity on stakeholders that has to do with a case study in your book. And with that, we'll come to class on Monday and put it all together and move on to our next topic. Okay, so if we agree that a mission statement to an organization is the organizational purpose, all right? There are a couple of things that are important to think about with organizational purpose, and I will give you a handout on this on Monday. An organization needs to be able to answer the following questions. Who are we? First off. What are the basic social and political needs we exist to meet? And what problems do we seek to address? Or opportunities do we want to take advantage of? In general, what do we do to recognize, anticipate, respond to those needs or problems? How should we respond to our stakeholders? Oh, stakeholders. What are our philosophies, our culture, our values, and what makes us distinctive or unique? What makes us different than anybody else doing these sorts of things? Now, we want to talk about stakeholders today. Our stakeholder, those individuals or organizations that directly or indirectly influence or are influenced by us, our organization. Okay? You'll see variations on the theme. This particular definition came out of the Global Strategic Planning book, but they all essentially talk about the same thing. Who do we influence directly or indirectly, and who influences us? Okay? So when we talk about working with these stakeholders, we have to figure out who they are. And they'll change based on the programs that we offer. Some are more influential or are more influenced by some programs rather than others. And then there are stakeholders that are important to the organization as a whole. Now, what I'm going to ask you to do is to, in your Allison and Kay book, we have this case study, the ASO USA case study that's in the front of the book in the preface. I am going to put on the Moodle site the case study that is right in your book, so you can use it right in the book if you want. What I want you to do is to read through that case study, please, and identify the various programs that are offered by this organization. They have a lot of different things that they're busy with. So go through that case study and make a list. Identify those various programs that the organization is involved with, okay? Then, what I'd like you to do is to develop the stakeholders for the organization as a whole. So, you know, there's various people or categories of people that are listed in that case study, different types of clients that are engaged or influenced by those programs that you listed in item number 1. Develop the list of stakeholders for the organization as a whole. Then what I'd like each one of you to do is to just pick one of those programs that are in that list and develop a list of stakeholders for that particular program. So yes, there's going to be overlap with number 2. They may indeed be the same group of people, or you may have one or two others based on the program that you've selected. Now, the last thing, for this particular program, I want you to think about what criteria does each stakeholder use to assess your performance. If you're working on the hotline support line program and you've identified all the stakeholders that are influenced by that hotline, tell me what would they use as criteria to say that your organization, ASO USA, is doing a good job with that hotline, okay? How would they assess your performance? And then I want you to see if you can guess how the organization is performing against those criteria. So for some of them it may be the way that you judge is because they just got refunded or because there's nobody else doing that kind of work. This will be difficult because you don't have a whole lot of information yet. So you can guess at how you might want to respond to that because we don't exactly know. And then my last question that isn't listed here, you can just think about, I'm going to ask you about it in class on Monday. We know that this organization is about to do a new strategic plan. Tell me, what level of involvement do you think that each of those stakeholders should have in that strategic plan, in that process of developing and writing the strategic plan, if any, and why do you think that way? All right? So again, we're talking about stakeholders and stakeholder analysis. And what we're going to do on Monday is I'm going to show you a couple of different ways to look at our stakeholders and analyze them. But in order to do that, we need to have gone through this activity first so that we have the data right there in front of us. Okay? So go to it. Shouldn't take you too much time. And I'll see you on Monday. Think about what we've covered in our YouTube sessions. So if you have any questions ready to go, we can start right there on Monday. Okay? Have a great weekend, folks. See ya.
Thank you.